Welcome back to the Marathon series in depth. We have made our way into the Spit Citadel of Antiquity, and now we need to discover what we can about the Spit Cur, also known as the 11th Spit clan. The level name, The Hard Stuff Rules, is actually another Beavis and Butthead reference. In Season 5, Episode 18, titled Party, Butthead says the hard stuff rules after trading donuts for some booze with a homeless man. The level was also named this because of the difficulty in making it. Here's what the level designer Greg Kirkpatrick had to say about it. The level was named for the fact that it was incredibly difficult to make. In fact, it was a triumph of mind over computer. My machine crashed every 5 minutes while making it, and I had to move each point at least 10 times to get to the underlying areas. While working on it, I referred to it as the Citadel. If you take a look at the map for the level, you will find it can get quite confusing as there are rooms on top of rooms. This is quite an impressive feat considering that the map editor looks at everything top down. On top of that, this is the third largest level in Marathon 2 by polygon count with 415 total polygons. I'm sure this map would be quite a hassle to make, although I cannot speak from personal experience. Considering Durandal has teleported us to the top of the Citadel and we need to search in here for the missing Spit clan, it makes sense that this level would have multiple floors on top of each other. The downside to all this is that our map will be confusing and less useful than normal. This is also the first level where we will fight against the red lava Flicta and the blue Flicta. Note that this map does not have any original level design notes with it. Alright, here we are on the hard stuff rules. As soon as we start fighting, these Flicta are gonna wake up, so better be ready. I'm just gonna slowly circle them. Try to avoid taking damage. Of course, there's these ticks. Just annoying. We'll just let the wildlife live, I suppose. Here, just get them up, ready for single file. Oh, there's some more coming. Okay, there we go, they're dealt with. So now I think we can leave this terminal and get some more grenade ammo, which is nice.
During the final hours of the Spit 4 war, the last free Spit made a stand in the Citadel of Antiquity. We are searching the Citadel to learn as much as possible about these Spit and what they did during their final moments. The four appear to have been reluctant to attack the Citadel directly. Radiation lingering in the area after 1,000 years suggests that they irradiated the Citadel and let the Spit die slowly. That is not their style. Each of the 10 clans was represented here, and I hope that they discovered something before being overrun by the four. Find as many Spit computers as you can so that I may search them for useful information.
The terminal image shows the Spit Citadel of Antiquity rising high up into the sky. The other small columns sticking up are supposedly Spit homes. If you take a look upwards and eat a vidboy, the tower looks somewhat similar, but maybe not quite with the same aspect ratio, and the top looks a bit different too. It is fairly similar, however. Durandal tells us that the last free Spit were within the Citadel during the 4 invasion. Durandal wants to find out what they were doing in their final hours here. It is a little mysterious to us what the final hours of the Spit would tell us about the missing Spit clan, especially if our understanding in the last video was right and they left a year or so before the 4 arrived on Low 1. Remember, this terminal said the Spit Cur left 1001 orbits ago, and they left because they refused to see the carnage among the warring fellow Spit clans. The last paragraph of the terminal does suggest that Durandal believes that they may have found something in their final hours. I guess it might make sense that the last of the free Spit would try to send a message of some sorts to their lost fellow clan. Like always, Durandal probably knows more that he isn't telling us. Durandal tells us that the Four used radiation to kill the last free Spit who resided in the Citadel. It appears that this radiation still lingers and has kept the Four out. Good thing the security officer is a cyborg and thus likely resistant to radiation. Durandal tells us that this is not the Four style. I think he is referring to the Four allowing the Spit to slowly die within the Citadel. We will learn later on that they also bombed the Spit within the Citadel. Based on these tactics, it seems like the Four likely were having a tough time gaining entrance into the Citadel and thus resorted to atypical strategies for the Four. Regardless, our goal is to find more Spit computers in order to learn anything we can from the final hours of the Spit within the Citadel. We can still see on our map all the ticks, running around. Get some nice ammo, and there's also times 2 shield recharge if we need it. We haven't took damage yet. This window is kind of cool. You can see the terminal. Okay, we do have a lot of ammo. Oh, we did take some damage from one of them. These guys, these blue ones, they don't shoot you, but they have so much health. Some of these Flicked are attacking each other. Just quite nice. We can save the game. We could go down and get that ×2 shield recharge station, but I'm not even going to bother. I almost have full health. Oops, I didn't mean to fall down. Oops. They're gonna come back. For some reason, they run back in the other room, and they kind of will keep coming right here. You can kind of just kind of let them keep coming back and keep killing them. You know, they're being a bit of a pain though, so. Oh. That one flick that made me fall down. I didn't want to, because there's a secret up here. I normally jump across, but this guy got in my way, so I'm gonna do a little grenade jump. Oh, I ran out of ammo. Should have made sure I had enough ammo before I did that. Probably just to go get up like that. There we go. So we got a little bit of extra ammo there. Should probably go back though, honestly, and get that ×2 shield recharge down here. And then we can save and then continue. So that clears out that room because there's a lot more Flicta to deal with. Oops. The zero gravity is getting to me. This next room is quite annoying. I don't know if we woke them up or not. You're probably gonna have to go out there and just deal with it. Trying to clear out the edge quickly. And there's all these lava Flicta. Gotta take them all out. Can't leave a single Flicta alive. Ah! And they're attacking fast. They are merciless. Okay, almost got them all. See what this? Look at him! Look at him attacking his friend. It's like, oops. Can't get out. I don't even know if we can get out of that. I guess I didn't look at that. I didn't think of that when I was making this video because I didn't even fall in there. I'm sure, I guess it probably will work if you do a forward grenade hop. Maybe I'll test that. Now it's annoying because I have to fight all these annoying Flicta again. Took the tick damage. I thought I was far enough away, but apparently I don't have a good gauge on the distance of the impacts. Okay, there's that. We'll just save and progress. Or heal and progress, I mean. That room is pretty annoying because of the lava. You can't just easily face them. It's hard to grenade hop out there because you shoot the grenade into the lava and you just get stuck and you can't really swim up. I feel like there's a way to get out of it, but I don't know, maybe I'm just blanking right now. This is quite dangerous because you can't dodge these things. They just tend to run away. We'll wait for them to come back. I guess you can kind of go back and forth to the sides. These cyborgs just kind of spawn in wherever they want. Oh well, let's go heal real quick. That part of the level is the map design from a fighting perspective isn't the greatest. Not the best. This level has a lot of cyborgs that spawn in at close range. As you can tell, that's just the same terminal we read before. Now this guy decided to come behind us, didn't he? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, that wasn't good. Let's just go ahead and heal again, I guess. Keep coming down that. I think I'm going to end up somewhere else. It'd be really nice if I get to that save terminal without having grenade hop. I just feel like it's not worth my time to do it. Okay, I'm getting kind of low on grenades, so... I don't know, there's a cyborg spawn somewhere. He's probably up above. We'll just explore this level before we go up. Got a nice pretty window here. I'm trying to remember where I think I went down here. I went in here. That's where I almost died. This is another other terminal. It's the same terminal again. You know, we can't break those panels. This just doesn't go anywhere. So now that's that whole floor, I believe. Which is kind of like the circular nature. It's very easy to get lost in here. Okay, yeah, this is the way I want to. Actually, I think I want to go to the south side of this, but that's alright. We'll go in here. Oh, hello there. Use up our pistols for a little bit. Okay. I think this does spawn in some ammo. I'll just pull up my fusion pistol in case they decide to spawn some cyborgs on me. These Flicta are really so much like the goals in Pathways into Darkness, aren't they? The rock throwing. Okay, this is the way I want to go, because there's a shield recharge station at the end of this, and a pattern buffer. There's the pattern buffer. And here's a shield recharge station. I don't know why everything is so dark on these walls. It's like, you can almost like not even see it, but it's probably just, I'm gonna guess it's ALF 1 settings, but I don't really know for sure, I guess. I didn't really think about that. I try to use the optimal weapon partly too, just so that you guys don't have to watch me fighting for as long. You know what I mean? I want to kill things quickly, but within reason, you know. You gotta watch out. There's cyborgs that will spawn on top of you. I think there's one. And I think when you go into here, one spawns behind you. Oh no, he spawns in there. My bad. I remembered wrong. We'll go back in there so we can look out that window. You can see some parts of the citadel out there. For some reason I wanted to say ship, but this isn't a ship. This is a building on a planet. Wow, that was terrible. This Flicta likes to wake up. The other ones don't wake up. That lone one does. So that's the dead end this way. So now I actually explored most of the level. Explore a little bit this way. can go ahead and read this terminal.
Only I grasped the significance of the dissection of some of the captives. These creatures, repugnant as they are sentient. And yet their bodies are not bonded to any mechanisms. They can survive without their armor and their staffs. Until now, sentience had always required cyber-organic symbiosis. All of our science has led to this conclusion. We can even give our pets sentience with cyber-organic implants. Yet, these vile conquerors are sentient without any machinations. This leads to debate. Perhaps our own sentience is induced by the birthing operation, and that at some time, we were no more sentient than Afflicta. If such fundamental assumptions of our kind is wrong, then perhaps the myths were true, and we were actual servants of Yarrow and Pythia. Perhaps they built us, or we were part of a larger group to come to Lawan. Alas, I fear that we will never know these things.
This terminal informs us that the Sphit were dissecting some of the 4 invaders in hopes to understand them better. It seems that they were surprised to find the 4 were sentient despite their distasteful nature. This makes sense because the Sphit are unfamiliar with anything having sentience without some sort of bonded mechanism. The terminal even mentions that they have never experienced a sentient lifeform that was divorced of cyber-organic components. It seems that the Sphit rely on their cyber-organic components and their royalty for their sentience. The terminal image on Sharon Doesn't Make Change shows the Sphit outside of their typical robes, and this better shows their cybernetic components. It also is funny that it says the 4 could survive without their armor and staff, as if it was an interesting fact. The terminal mentions the Sphit could give their pets cyber-organic components in order to make them sentient. These pets are almost certainly the Afflicta that we have been fighting against. There was the terminal on Sharon Doesn't Make Change in which the Sphit were studying the Afflicta. The same level has the quote about the Sphit Cur leaving behind the Afflicta in order to keep the air ducts clean, which certainly sounds like they are pets. I wonder why the Sphit decided not to give the Afflicta sentience if they were their pets. Perhaps it is because they had trouble with them becoming unpredictably upset to the point that the Sphit were forced to kill their specimens. Unless of course the Sphit did give some of the Afflicta these cyber-organic implants, we just never actually run across any of the sentient Afflicta within the game. Regardless, the Sphit mentions that perhaps at one time the Sphit were no more sentient than the Afflicta before their birthing operation. I suspect that the birthing operation is an operation where the new Sphit are provided with cybernetic components. This leads to question whether they do this at the time of the Sphit's physical birth, but this is not very clear. It seems that this Sphit is uncertain on whether they are like the Afflicta and had no sentience before they were provided with cybernetic components. My explanation of this uncertainty seems a bit contradictory to the earlier part of the terminal where the Sphit are surprised that the 4 are sentient without cyber-organic components. However, perhaps this is just the Sphit struggling to come to terms with this conclusion. This Sphit suggests that if they were not originally sentient, then perhaps they are actually just servants of Yarrow and Pythia. By Yarrow, of course, we mean the Yarrow with the J. This would be Sphit royalty such as Sipoth, although there may be more to this. We have not heard of Pythia yet. Perhaps the Pythia is another race like the Yarrow or something different. Pythia, with a slightly different spelling, is actually the name of the ancient city in Greece that is referred to in Greek mythology. There are actually several women in Greek mythology that have this name. I am not sure that Pythia originating from Greek mythology can be used in any significant way to better understand the game, however. We will have to wait and see exactly who Pythia is. The Sphit wonder whether they were just servants of Yarrow and Pythia. The Sphit also wonders whether Yarrow and Pythia were its creators. The Sphit is uncertain and fears it will never know. Perhaps we will learn more about the origins of the Sphit and more history about whether it was always sentient as we progress through the game. After reading this terminal, I wonder whether the Sphit's cybernetic components are of Yarrow origins. I wonder what sort of implications this could have if it was. After all, the Yarrow are seen as a vastly superior and mysterious race. This is quite an interesting possibility, and leads me to wonder what other interesting things we might learn about this fit as we progress. And we can explore this room, which is another sort of museum room with some more flipped on display, and a heck of a lot of grenades. Jeez, guys. And we're getting attacked from the side. I'm taking less hits than I thought. It's because these guys are on the side. And these Flicta don't wake up like the other ones did. We can go ahead and recharge our shields. There's some cyborgs up there trying to shoot us. We'll ignore them for now. Let's see if they come down. I don't think they will jump down like the 4 will. There's a few more terminals in this room. Let's go ahead and read them.
The beasts stopped attacking, running for their pods. We thought they meant to surrender. Then the bombardment anew. The burning air. We're evacuating to the lowest levels of the Citadel, but eventually it will reach us there too. We're evacuating to the lowest levels of the Citadel, but eventually it will reach us there too. I've received a lethal dose. I feel like the fractal after his mating dance ends.
I don't know if it's abundantly clear, but I am pretty confident the beast in this terminal is referring to the 4 invaders. When it says they left running for the pods, I am guessing it is referring to some sort of escape pod. This might be something like the maneuvering pod in the first Marathon game's manual. Bungie really hasn't referred to what a 4 pod might be, so it's hard to have much confidence in what exactly this pod is. I think the idea is that the Spit were fighting off the 4, and then the 4 chose to run away and start bombing the Spit in the Citadel, along with attacking them through radiation. This is why the Spit referred to the air as burning. This radiation has forced the Spit to retreat to the lowest levels of the Citadel, where they can prolong their inevitable end. The Spit compares receiving a lethal dose of this radiation to a Hifracrutal after his mating dance ends. This is presumably another species on the planet of Lowan. I am guessing after the species mates, its life comes to an end. Interestingly, there is a mathematical or perhaps geometrical term called a fractal that sounds quite similar to the Hifracrutal species. This term is a bit hard to explain, but basically it is a repeating shape that you can see over and over as you zoom in more and more on the shape. Understanding what it is really doesn't mean anything in terms of the Marathon universe, however. Some of them you can't read, some of them you can. Let's try this one right here.
Report to leader. Questionable surgical procedures. And if that wasn't enough, the vile bipeds removed his sensory organs in order to make room for this small oblong object that they installed in his face. They didn't even do it as a separate operation. I guess they figured since the object would displace them anyhow, why bother? The thing that confused me, though, was how they did it. It wasn't standard procedure, though, I can tell you that. Only one surgical instrument was used during the procedure, the device that held the small oblong object. They tried to make an incision in which to place the object with their knuckles several times before giving up and inserting the object anyway. And it was inserted at a rather high rate of speed. But I guess that was to ensure that total displacement of the sensory organs occurred.
The terminal is actually peak Bungie humor. Taking a look at the picture explains the joke. In the picture, we see a 4 fighter holding a gun to one of the creatures on the operation table. I would think at first that this creature is a Spit. However, comparing the creature to the image of the Spit without the robes on Sharon doesn't make change, make me not too certain if this is the case. Their arms do look similar though, so perhaps this fit in this image is just a different color and has different cybernetic component. Regardless, the small oblong object is of course a bullet or whatever the 4 would load into the gun it is holding. That is why the terminal says the bullet was inserted at a rather high rate of speed. It's funny that the Spit thought that they did this procedure just to replace the Spit's sensory organs. It really makes me wonder about the intelligence of the Spit. This does make some sense though, that the Spit would have a tough time understanding the ways of a race like the 4, considering their vast differences. I think the main takeaway from this terminal is that the 4's brutal force methods were quite difficult for the Spit to understand, and that the Spit have a very unique perspective on things compared to other biological life. This one. That one's negative. We can read this one.
Older foretold of the closing of the Citadel windows, and we made his vision true. Then, Older foretold of our victory, and we crushed the bipeds. Again, these beasts come here and fight against the ancient walls of the Citadel, against all the clans in unison. Our monolith will never fall. Never have so many of us been guided so quickly and resolutely. To breathe here is to understand unity. Peter told me that the Olders began melding days ago. You can all feel the effects of this. The angry air of Lawan has at last been cleansed. I miss the marshes of Manur and the 7 of mine. I'm sure that they are gone into the fires.
I don't know if it is abundantly clear what an Older is. The term is used a bit in just a few levels, but it is primarily used in this terminal along with the terminals on the next 2 levels. It would seem though that the Olders are some sort of leader to the Spit. We do know that the Jarl were Spit royalty, which would mean that the Olders also being Jarl is a real possibility. I don't think this is the case though, and I think the most likely scenario is that the Olders are Spit that have some sort of higher position. The main reason I think this is because of a terminal in Marathon Infinity on a level titled A Mot Secur, which states that there were newly chosen Olders of the remaining Spit. I don't want to get into more of the terminal for spoiler reasons, but I think this actually heavily implies that the Olders are in fact Spit. This of course is inconclusive, but this is the perspective I will take going forward. We do know from a terminal in the next level that there are presently 11 Olders in total. It appears that the Olders made some predictions about the future here in this terminal. They foretold the closing of the Citadel's windows, and it happened. This is of course due to the Spit trying to protect themselves against the attacking 4. You could argue that they should be opening the windows to help with the radiation, but I don't even know if that would make a difference or not. The Olders also foretold of them crushing the bipeds, which is of course the 4. I think this is referring to the Spit beating back the 4 and forcing them to return to their pods as discussed by Durandal. This terminal tells us why the 4 had to retreat to their pods and resort to radiation weaponry along with bombing. It is interesting how we can put all the pieces of this terminal together to get a fuller picture of what happened. The Spit tells us how they have never responded so quickly and resolutely. The fact that the Spit have some sort of hive mind was certainly beneficial in their defense against the 4, as they were able to respond in unison. I think when the Spit says to breathe here is to understand unity, it is describing them experiencing the fullness of unity allowed by their sort of hive mind abilities. I don't see this as a result of their proximity to one another, but the fact that they are no longer fighting each other and are focused on a common enemy. Another reason could be that this difficult situation has allowed their hive mind-like abilities to be used to their maximum extent for the survival of the Spit race. The Spit tells us that the Olders are melding. Melding, of course, means to blend or to combine. Does this mean the Olders are combining into one entity, or does this mean that their minds are just being temporarily combined to work in unison? Terminals in the next level discuss a meeting among the Olders, which I suspect is where this melding took place. Perhaps this melding is just how the Olders communicate when they meet, but I am not very certain. The Spit tells us that this melding of the Olders has caused the angry air of Lowan to be cleansed. This reminds me of how the Siphoth on Sharon Doesn't Make Change felt a burning at dawn, but yet Siphoth stopped the Spit Cur from fighting. I think the idea is that the Olders having their meeting of the minds had an immediate impact on the Spit because of their hive mind-like mentality that cleansed their anger collectively. Another possibility, however, is that they are actually physically cleansing the air of radiation. I'm not sure which interpretation is more likely, but perhaps it is a little bit of both. I'm not sure exactly how the Spit would clean the air of radiation, however. The Spit tells us that he misses the marshes of Manure and the Seven of Mine that are gone to the fires. This is referring to the same fires that turned the water black on Edith Vidboy. It seems likely that these marshes belong to the Spit Manure, and thus the Spit who wrote this terminal is also Spit Manure. Bungie found another opportunity to insert the number 7 with the 7 of Mine. The 7 of Mine seems somewhat nonsensical, and I'm not sure what it's supposed to mean. There is a Star Trek character named 7 of 9, but from my understanding this character didn't appear until a couple years after the release of Marathon 2. The Spit states that these 7 of his went into the fire. I think this 7 of Mine is most likely 7 Spit offsprings, but it could also be 7 Spit friends, or even 7 pet Flicta. So we can actually leave the level now, but we do want to come explore up here, which is nice that there's a pattern buffer or a healing station right here, because there's a ton of cyborgs up here that we need to deal with. But there's also some shotgun ammo and some nice fuse, so they don't really give us a lot of room to maneuver coming up that elevator, do they? Yeah, I love the cyborg spawning in, right? I could use some more fusion cells, which is a little bit more. Some shotgun ammo. Get some nice fuse. We'll look at that view some more. We'll look at all these windows some more so we can enjoy the hard work. I like the pattern on the window. It looks like you're on a kind of alien building, you know, I don't know. It almost looks like a ship because it's sticking out, but it is just the Citadel. You got nice views. This one is basically the same. And this one is also basically the same. Basically on each side of the tower you have these massive things sticking out, whatever it is. We healed there, but really we're just going to go back to that ×2 shield recharge station real quick, which was down here, and we'll heal up our shield, then we can go to the next level. Well, we got to read the terminal from Durandal. I think you have to jump down to find the terminal. I don't think there's any up there. Alright, let's read this.
Battle Group 7 arrived sooner than I expected. The 4 fleet consists of 7 corvettes, similar to my own, 4 destroyers, a battleship, and an assault carrier. They are passing the orbit of the outer planets now, headed for Lawan. It appears that this fleet retreated into the bunker under the Citadel during the final 4th bombardment 1,000 years ago. You are going to search these bunkers. Often during the last minutes of life, the truth is revealed. Perhaps before their annihilation, Svit realized something that would save us. Be warned that the approaching 4 fleet has already begun to reinforce their Lawan garrison by long-range transport.
The terminal image shows Lawan orbiting around the sun and the incoming Battle Group 7 on a trajectory course to intercept its path. It is cool how it shows the ships going to where the planet will be, as it shows a little bit of thought was put into this image. It appears even to give a number which must be the space coordinates of where the intersection will occur. The total number of ships Durandal mentions are approaching comes to 13. This matches the number of red dots in the 2 green circles in the terminal image. 7 of the corvettes are of similar size to Durandal's ship, which suggests that things will not go well when they arrive. I doubt Durandal's upgrades to the ship are enough to deal with these odds. According to Wikipedia, a corvette in the Navy is actually the smallest class of vessels considered to be a proper or rated warship. This suggests that Durandal's spaceship is actually relatively small compared to some of the other spaceships within the 4 fleet. Anyways, it seems that we will need to go down to the bunkers beneath the Citadel to continue our search. Durandal tells us that the truth is often revealed in the last minutes of life. This appears to be foreshadowing that we will find some of the answers we are looking for very soon. Unfortunately though, Battle Group 7 has been sending in reinforcements, so we will likely be reaching heavier resistance very soon. This mission primarily consists of fighting Flicta and cyborgs. I think the idea from a lore perspective is that the Spit left the Flicta behind to keep things running, and the 4 left the cyborgs behind because the cyborgs can survive the radiation, but the 4 can't. At least not long term. Regardless, it seems more 4 will be coming as a result of the arriving of Battle Group 7. Most of the level is fairly straightforward as you continue through, although it is a bit confusing to follow because of the levels of the map appearing on top of each other. The first room you teleport into has a bunch of inactive Flicta and ticks that will activate as soon as you move. This gives you a chance to get your bearings before you start fighting. If you take a look at the first room, the outer walls appear to have a similar shape to the outer walls that Durandal teleported us from. This of course makes sense, as we should be higher up in the same tower. As we progress up the tower, the level will open up beyond this sort of octagonal shape as we get to the parts of the Citadel that extend laterally. We could see some of the portions of the tower that extend laterally if we look up and eat it Vidboy, and in the terminal image of the Citadel from this level. Without getting too far into the level, you will reach your first terminal from Durandal. As you progress, you will actually reach 2 more versions of the same terminal from Durandal. This second terminal is actually helpful because it makes it easier to get to the second message from Durandal and leave the level. One of these terminals has a breakable panel on each side of the terminal. However, these breakable panels actually can't be broken and they do nothing. In one of the early rooms, you will run across the blue water Flicta for the first time. These Flicta have no ranged attack, but soak up quite a bit of damage before killing them. The first room you encounter with them also has a pattern buffer. On your way up the tower is a room with a bunch of cubes on the ground. If you jump across all of these cubes, there is a secret stash of ammo that appears next to a window. There is a times 1 shield recharge pickup in this secret, but it is almost pointless considering there is a times 1 shield recharge station in the same room. The windows throughout the level are rather cool, as they allow you to see portions of the Citadel from outside. Several of these areas you can get to on the inside, and it really adds some depth to the level. Not all the windows show things accurately from what we would expect, however. Speaking of realism, we have to ask ourselves what lava would be doing in the upper levels of a tower anyways. This is quite strange and seems to be quite problematic. This brings a roof leak to a whole new level. Most of the later portions of the level are fairly straightforward, so I won't go into too much detail. There is a portion of the level that opens up to the east that has a times 2 shield recharge station and a pattern buffer, so you definitely want to go in that direction as soon as possible. From that point, you can always go back and heal as needed. There are 2 museum-like rooms, one in the north and the other to the south. Both of these rooms feature some Flicta on display. The north one also has the typical green Flicta along with a skull. The south one has a lava and water Flicta along with some bones. There is also a green Flicta in the south room that wakes up for some reason. It seems this Fit may have been studying these Flicta within the Citadel, unless this is just for educational purposes. The door to the North Museum room, if you will, has the first SFIT terminal you can read along with a breakable panel. This breakable panel doesn't actually do anything either. Directly west of this terminal is another room with multiple SFIT terminals. This is what we came here for. Some of the terminals in this room don't work, so just try them all to figure out which one has some messages you can read. Before you enter the room with the SFIT terminals is a polygon that you must enter in order to trigger the second message from Durandal that allows you to proceed to the next level. This is the only must-explore polygon on the level. Near this area is an elevator that is activated by a switch in the times 1 shield recharge station. Going up there leads to some gorgeous views and also some additional shotgun ammo. Some of the cyborgs in later portions of the level are quite annoying as they tend to be teleported in just a few feet away from you. I would just keep your fusion pistol handy while exploring the later portions of the level. Perhaps they are a part of Battle Group 7 and are a glimpse of the trouble we will be facing going forward. Well, that's it for this mission. In the next level, we will be exploring the bunkers beneath the Citadel.